Hey, how you doing? This is Craig Beck from StopDrinkingExpert.com. You know you're in trouble when I get the whiteboard out. Welcome into today's little episode. I want to talk to you about drinking alcohol to escape reality. And it's very common. You know, when I do a boot camp, I'd say a good 30-40% of the people in the room are doing exactly that. Life is tough. Now, it doesn't mean it's tough in this moment. It may be that they've had a lot of trauma in the past and they just don't want to keep thinking about it over and over again. Or they may have trauma in this moment and they're using alcohol to deal with it. And it's very common, and I used to do it myself. And what I couldn't see at the time, back when I was a problem drinker, is actually alcohol was causing most of my problems. And so actually I created this kind of cyclone where I believed that I needed alcohol because life was so sucky. You know, there's so much crap going on in my life, so many bills coming in, so much pressure, that I believed that I needed alcohol to cope with that. And of course, the truth is, if you took alcohol out of the mix, then, 80% of my problems would have slowly disappeared, and that's exactly what they did do. But it's so hard when you're inside the bubble to see the reality, because it all feels so real. You need to look at your life with sober eyes. And there goes the catch-22. You can't until you get sober, of course. But look, let me explain something to you. This is really important. If you are drinking to avoid pain, to avoid depression, to avoid anxiety and panic attacks, to avoid the reality of life, which can be tough at times, this is the same as using a loan shark to deal with your debt problem. It has the illusion of appearing to help. If you get into debt and you go to a loan shark, isn't it true that for a while at least, things get better? But it's pretty easy to see in that situation that the problems you get out the back end are significantly bigger than you started with. And actually the same is true with alcohol. It's just that we can't see it because the whole picture is kind of fuzzy and we can't connect the dots so easily. Look, let me explain this to you, right? So let's say you're going through life, no problem, and all of a sudden, a big bill arrives in the mail and you didn't expect it and stresses you out and you're panicking because you can't pay it. And that little evil clown that now lives in your head, he pops up and he says, hey, buddy, I've got a solution to this. You've just had a hard day at work. You don't deserve to spend the whole evening stressing about this. I've got a solution for you. It's going to make it go away. Do you want it? Just one little drink. And you have the drink, and it appears to stop the pain. You're no longer stressing about the bill. You're no longer worried about it. You're chilled out, you're relaxed. And it's not that the bill doesn't exist anymore, it's just you're too stupid to think about it logically. It just drifts off into this little daydream bubble. Now, in that moment, what we tend to think is that it went away. The problem went away. Alcohol made things better. Yay. But actually, of course, it didn't go away. And actually, alcohol it's not like hitting fast forward on the tape. It's like hitting pause. So all your problems are there waiting for you the next day. So the next day you get up and the bill is still there. But also you have an argument with your partner because you didn't pay the bill. So now you have two levels of problems. So you get home from work and the evil clown goes, what a day you've had. Your boss is an asshole. That bill is still sitting there waiting to be paid. You don't need to think about that, buddy. And forget your wife, forget your husband. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Just drink. And everything gets better. And just like going to a loan shark, doesn't it appear to get better? Of course it does. And can you see what's happening here? So you wake up in the morning, the original bill that you had to pay is still there. The argument with your partner is still ongoing because you didn't resolve it. You just hit the pause button. Another bill arrives in the post here and you were late for work because of the hangover. And you see how from one little problem that alcohol promised you it could help you with, you ended up with this kind of fork. And this is just, this is kind of over a week. Now, can you imagine if you do this over a decade or so? Can you imagine what happens to your life? It just keeps expanding outwards. Your problems just get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and alcohol keeps popping up and saying, hey, 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 I've got a solution to that. You don't need to think about it tonight. And on and on and on it goes. And so if you are currently thinking, well, Craig, I can't stop drinking because it's the only pleasure I have left. Life is so tough. Life is so hard. And life is so stacked against me. If you take alcohol from me, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I don't know how I'm going to cope. I don't think I can cope with all of this. And I'm scared to stop drinking because then I will have to face all this pain. And while that is true, if you don't stop drinking, this just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it swamps you. Now, when you stop drinking, you get the mental clarity to look at your problems and prioritize them. You're no longer sticking your head in the sand about the state of your finances, how your career is going, what's the state of your marriage, what's happening with your health, what are your kids doing. All these things that you've blocked out because they were just too difficult to deal with, they're all there and they're all waiting for your attention. But because you haven't got that brain fog, because you've got 100% of your mental capacity, you can look at your life and you can say, okay, well, I'm not happy with that. That needs to change. This is really, really making me miserable. I want to get rid of that. These people in my life, they're not my friends. They say they are, they're not my friends. They're going to have to go. My career, why am I doing this? I hate my job. I get up every morning, I do this commute and it sucks. I hate it. I want to change my job. Now, you're not going to be able to change everything overnight. And you wouldn't want to because that would be too dramatic. That would be really scary, wouldn't it? And all I can tell you is my own experience with this. Because when I was drinking, this is very much my life. At the peak of my drinking, I was doing a 3-hour daily commute to a job that I didn't like, to work for a guy who didn't respect me, and I felt pretty much the same about him, for not quite enough money. I had £25,000 on a credit card. I had a personal loan. I had a huge mortgage. I had a marriage that was falling apart. We were in separate bedrooms. I was asleep by 8 p.m. every night. My health was so bad that I had high blood pressure. I had sleep apnea. I had this pain in my abdomen. I was seeing a consultant at the hospital because of my liver problems. Oh man. Life sucked. And then I stopped drinking. And slowly, all of this just got better. Slowly, my finances started to improve. I started paying down my debt. I changed my career. I quit the job that I hated, and it was such a pleasure to resign to the asshole who I'd been forced to work with all these years. It was such a pleasure not to get in the car at 7 a.m. and do that ridiculous 90-minute commute, crawling along at 4 miles an hour to get to my place of work. I moved 2,000 miles to a Mediterranean island. I set up my own business. My health dramatically improved. I lost 57 pounds in weight without even trying. My blood pressure returned to normal levels, and they'd not been there for over a decade. My sleep apnea disappeared within 3 months. The pain in my side equally gone in 3 months. I stopped seeing consultants at the hospital, and I finally got my life back together. Now, the thing is about alcohol is a lot of people think that, alcohol will take you to your knees, and that's when you know you've got a problem. People have this image in their head of what an alcoholic is, and they think, well, if I ever get to the point where I'm homeless and I'm sitting in a park drinking whiskey out of a brown paper bag, then I'll know that I've really got a problem. But very rarely does alcohol want to take you to that place, because alcohol is a very narcissistic, very devious, very evil drug, and it knows that if it takes you to that place, you're going to do something about it. Generally, you're going to fix it. It doesn't want you to fix it. It wants you to remain frozen in this mediocre, miserable existence. Because if it can suspend you in this miserable state, then it can continue to pretend to offer a solution to you. If it can hold you at this place in your life where you're not quite happy, but you're not broken enough for someone to intercede and do something about it. And this is how most problem drinkers spend their lives. You can spend decades in this loop. Not quite having enough money, being in a crappy relationship, meeting the wrong people, doing a job you hate. All the time believing that alcohol's making it better when actually alcohol is keeping you in this situation. And it's really hard to see when you're in the loop. I understand that because I've been there. And when I had that pain in my side, I avoided going to the doctor for like 3 months because I was scared that he would confirm it was my drinking and I would be ordered to stop. That's the insanity of this drug. That I had this pain in an area of my body which was very serious and could have been life-threatening. And rather than deal with that, I just stuck my head in the sand and avoided it because I was scared someone else would force me to stop drinking, which I believed was a pleasure in my life. When you quit drinking, everything gets better. You deal with problems when they need to be dealt with. You address the challenges in life with all your energy and passion and clear-headedness. Big problems that existed when you were a drinker, when you get sober, you realize actually they're pretty small. And if you act quickly, there's a really simple quick fix to them. So what I would encourage you to do is if you believe that your life is not how you want it to be, and you're waking up and you're thinking, there's got to be more to life than this, then I encourage you to take action. Come and join my program. The Net's only 5-star rated quit drinking program. If you're not ready to commit, just come and do a free webinar with me. I do a free coaching webinar every day. Just come and do that and see what you think. I'm just going to finish this on one little note. We've got Toronto coming up, the Quit Drinking Bootcamp. There's only like 5 places left now. So please, if you're thinking about coming, book it today. Don't put it off. But what a lot of people don't know is there is a second hidden day to bootcamp. And not many people know about this, but the day before Quit Drinking Bootcamp, we do another day. And it's all about unlocking your full potential. It's about finding your purpose in life, finding where you're supposed to be going, the relationship you're supposed to be in, the amount of money you're supposed to have, the career you're supposed to be following. So if you ever have this kind of empty feeling inside, that there's something missing, there's got to be more to life than this. You're not currently doing what you came here to do. You ever get that nagging doubt? Then the day before bootcamp is for you. If you want more details, go to my other website, which is craigbeck.com, and you can get the details. Hopefully, I see you for both days in Toronto or Sydney or London in the next few months. So thank you very much for being with me today. If you have any questions, please drop me an email, craig@craigbeck.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and hopefully I see you in my members area in the next few minutes.